Welcome to the Gruber Morning Show. This is the Artificial Future Podcast. I'm Pete Gruber, and this is the podcast where we talk about all things new in the world of artificial intelligence and how it's impacting our trajectory into these new technologies, these disruptive technologies. The image behind me is going to be one of the themes in this podcast, which is AI is beginning to decode and translate whale language. Oh, that'll be kind of fun. The first thing I wanted to lead with was Microsoft's Copilot AI now understands your terrible handwriting, is the caption on this one. A program called OneNote can read and analyze your handwritten notes and use AI to improve them. I think that doctors probably are going to benefit from this. Prescriptions are typically written in cryptic script, and this should help quite a bit. We've got Mr. Obertowski joined us. Hello, Mr. Gruber. Thanks for being there from YouTube. Instagram, Go Cool Student says hi. Thanks for joining us. We do these once a week, and we have fun with them. We're going to look for some collaboration from the social media team here as well. And so anyway, Microsoft is preparing Copilot and in OneNote to read and analyze handwritten notes. The feature was entered late last month, and it will now allow OneNote users to write handwritten notes using a stylus and then summarize them, ask questions, or even generate to-do lists based on the notes. This AI-powered Copilot feature in OneNote will even be able to convert your handwritten notes into text for easy editing and sharing. Microsoft first launched Copilot inside OneNote in November of last year, and this upgrade will be available to existing Copilot for Microsoft 365 subscribers and Copilot Pro users once it rolls out more broadly. So got an image that we can pop up here, Jesse. It's called War. And I love it when these types of images just speak much louder than words. And this will lead us into our next discussion here regarding whale language. But there you can see where the funding goes typically in most countries. The things that are languishing are, of course, healthcare, education, sciences, arts. But what's being fed? Well, the war machinery. And if you've watched any of my podcasts, you'll realize that I'm a proponent of AI overlords. As scary as that sounds, my theory there is man has had literally thousands of years to get their act together and fundamentally stop killing each other. And we haven't been able to do it. We're doing it right up to the very moment that we speak in various parts of the world. What will stop that, in my opinion? AI overlords, something more intelligent than us, more balanced, that will take over and fundamentally neutralize, destroy all weapons of mass destruction, create a level playing field, and we won't have any need for these weapons anymore. All right, so what leads into this concept is that scientists were building a listening network to detect nuclear bomb tests. And you know what they found instead? Blue whales. So again, defense spending created something that was quite a bit more useful. We're beginning to understand whales a bit better. It turns out that the sperm whale uses a phonetic alphabet. This was revealed by AI. They've uncovered sophisticated structures similar to those found in human language. Now, let me read you this. This is kind of interesting. I love this article. In the inky depths of the midnight zone, an ocean giant bears the scars of the giant squid as she stalks. She searches the darkness, her echolocation pulsing through the water columns. Then she buzzes, a burst of rapid clicks just before she goes in for the kill. So, sperm whales. Exactly how sperm whales catch squid, like many other areas of their lives, remains a mystery. They're slow swimmers, says a marine scientist at the University of Exeter. Squid, on the other hand, are fast, extremely fast. Those of you that are familiar with, ocean creatures, if you've ever seen a squid swim, it will be stationary at one point, and suddenly, with a burst of energy, like a rocket ship, it goes sideways rapidly, almost to a blur. Well, whales aren't like that. They're slow. They travel at around 3.5 miles per hour. I think most people can walk faster than that.
I think so.
Yeah. So the question is, are the squid moving really slowly, or are the whales stunning them with their vocalizations? Well, this we don't know yet. AI is working on it right now. So they say, what happens down there? Nobody really knows yet. Sperm whales, it turns out, are not easy to study. They spend much of their lives foraging or hunting at depths beyond the reach of sunlight. They're capable of diving over 3 kilometers, 10,000 feet, and can hold their breath for 2 hours. At around 3,300 feet deep, many of the group will be facing the same way, flanking each other, but across an area of several kilometers. And at this time, they're talking, clicking the whole time. After about an hour, they say, the group rises to the surface in synchronicity. They'll then have their rest phase, and they might be at the surface for 15 to 20 minutes, and then they dive again. At the end of the day, foraging, the sperm whales come together at the surface and rub against each other, chatting while they socialize. What are they saying, though? As researchers don't see a lot of behavior because they don't spend that much time at the surface. There are masses that we don't know about them because we're just seeing a tiny little snapshot of their lives during that 15 minutes on the surface. Now, it was around 47 million years ago that land roaming cetaceans began to gravitate back toward the ocean. That's 47 million years of evolution in an environment alien to our own. How can we hope to easily understand creatures that have adapted to live and communicate under such different evolutionary pressures to ourselves? Now, here's where David Gruber chimes in. And by the way, no relation here. David Gruber apparently is a professor of biology at City University of New York. He says, it's easier to translate the parts where our world and their world overlap, like eating, nursing, sleeping. As mammals, we share these basics with others. But I think it's going to get really interesting when we try to understand the areas of their world where there's no intersection with our own. Now, from elephants to dogs, modern technology is helping researchers sift through enormous data sets and uncover previously unknown diversity and complexity in animal communication. And again, AI is so much better at examining huge, large data sets than we are. It takes us decades, oftentimes, to develop anything out of this information. And SETI's researchers say they too have used AI to decode a sperm whale phonetic alphabet. In 2005, it turns out that Shane Jarrow, who is the biology lead for SETI, founded the Dominica Sperm Whale Project to study the social and vocal behavior of around 400 sperm whales that live in the Eastern Caribbean. Almost 20 years and thousands of hours of observation later, the research have discovered intricacies of whale vocalization never before observed, revealing structures within sperm whale communication akin to human language. David Gruber says, we're at base camp. This is a new place for humans to be. Sperm whales, it turns out, live in multi-level matrilineal societies, groups of daughters, mothers, and grandmothers, while the males, guess what they're doing? They're roaming the ocean, visiting groups to breed. They're known for their... Wait a minute, is that any different than humans, actually, if you think about it? Yeah, we can go down that rabbit hole some other time, guys.
Yeah.
They are known for their complex social behavior and group decision-making. You get that group decision making. That means communication between them definitely has to be sophisticated. For example, when they are able to adapt their behavior as a group when protecting themselves from predators like orcas or humans. And let's not forget that up until decades ago, whale hunting was a very lucrative commercial type business. And we were starting to head toward extinction for some of these species. Fortunately, that has stopped, and there were groups that were instrumental in that. I don't think they call them PETA on the oceans, but I think there was a group that I can't think of it now in the 60s and 70s that used to actually camp or go out to these ships, the whaling ships, and then either block them, camp on their boats in some way, and try to prevent them from, committing this kind of genocide to the whale population.
I think they still do it.
You think they still do it? Yeah.
Yeah, there's still big whaling, like industry in the Asian area.
I remember even in the last century there was a whale oil that was regarded as having viscosity properties well beyond normal, petrol-based type lubricants. And that was one of the reasons that, that whaling took place. But fortunately now I believe they've replaced that with something synthetic that has the same properties or is better. So sperm whales communicate with each other using rhythmic sequences of clicks called codas, C-O-D-A-S. It was previously thought that sperm whales had just 21 coda types. However, after studying almost 9,000 recordings, using AI, of course, and SETI researchers identified 156 distinct codas from only 21. They also noticed that the basic building blocks of these codas, which they described as sperm whale phonetic language, much like phonemes, the units of sound in human language, which combine to form words. So those of you interested, I suggest Google this. This is a fascinating new field. And of course, the eventual goal here is to be able to develop a translation for whale language and develop bidirectional communication. We can actually talk to these behemoths of the sea. All right. YouTube is going to use AI to snip copyrighted music.
Here, put the picture up.
Yeah.
For the squid.
Oh, let's put the Humboldt squid up. Sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. Now, this is probably one of the most scary dwellers in the deep oceans is that giant Humboldt squid, which could devour a human in just one simple gulp.
Is that the same thing as a kraken?
It could be.
That's what it looks like.
It does, yeah. And what is amazing and yet to be discovered is how whales are actually able to eat these things, considering they're as fast as they are. And as this article pointed out, it could be their vocalizations are designed to stun this big behemoth of the sea.
It's crazy that the whale is not a fast swimmer, yet it can get enough energy to come out of the water and jump and roll and slap its fins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it has to, well, it's probably that big tail fin that if it moves sideways quickly enough could, propel this thing right out of the ocean. But those are cool species. I'm looking forward to learning more about this, the whales and potentially communicating with them. So YouTube, getting back to that, they're going to use AI to snip copyrighted music and not silence your whole video. You know, we run into this all the time. We do a lot of videos and have visitors come to do videos, and we have background music. We always have to be careful to shut off the music, because as that background sound migrates into the video, it will affect the ability to use that content later on. And I think the penalties oftentimes are they used to kill your video. Or,
yeah, it's copyright.
Yeah.
Copyright strikes or blocks.
And they divert the monetization that you were hoping for that video to the rightful owner of that copyrighted, music, image, or whatever it is. So it turns out that YouTube is turning to AI to try to simultaneously appease copyright holders of songs while making life a little easier for those who upload videos with songs they don't have permission to use. Instead of just taking down a video now with copyrighted audio, the uploader doesn't own, they can use a new AI tool to remove the protected song without erasing the rest of the video audio track. And that's just fascinating technology. I mean, sounds tend to blend. How is AI able to distinguish what to delete and what to retain? That's just fascinating. You have an answer?
I'm not exactly sure what the algorithm is that they're using in the back end, but hopefully they start allowing us to do some testing. We just got the thumbnail testing feature added, so once these features roll out, we'll be able to test more of them.
Yeah. In that scenario where you have two sounds that sound the same, one is, one you want to get rid of, detrimental, the other one you want to keep. I'll bet it has something to do with predictive analysis in the algorithm, watching what happened before, like an oboe, for example, playing, and then allowing that to continue, somehow recognizing what that stream is.
Well, the interesting thing is there's going to be another layer to this, because from what I understand, it's gonna keep your voice when you're talking over the music. So there has to be some kind of layering to the audio for it to know that. Otherwise, I have no idea what technology they're using to differentiate you speaking versus the song playing in the background.
Well, in the recording studios, they use multi-channel mixing, and you do have different layers, kind of
Right,
like
but
Photoshop.
for us, for example, for our videos, we don't do that.
Yeah, we
like
don't.
if we're recording on your microphone that's on your lapel, on your lav mic, and you're speaking while the audio is coming through from the speakers overhead, it's not going to I don't know how they would be able to distinguish that.
It would be breaking it into layers. And somehow that algorithm has to be able to do that, which is fascinating.
Yeah.
So when a video receives a copyright claim for music content, YouTube will now offer several editing options. YouTube Studio to help get the claim released. These options include trim, mute, replace song, and the newly enhanced erase song. So this AI song erasure enhancement allows for relatively precise identification and removal of the copyrighted content from video clips. Previously, creators had limited options, such as muting the entire video or replacing the song, which often disrupted the overall viewing experience. The song erasure tools, they say, is the latest in the eternal tug of war between creators and copyright holders over dealing with copyright strikes, commonly referred to as copy strikes on YouTube. This song erasing feature has been undergoing beta testing, they say, but the broader rollout adds the option to the video copyright summary page within YouTube Studio. It provides two primary options for creators in dealing with the copyright claims: erase song and mute all sound. Now, they say this feature may not seem like a big deal to the casual YouTube creators, but it's particularly significant for those who rely on monetization through YouTube, through the YouTube Partner Program, for example. By addressing copyright claims more efficiently, creators can now ensure their videos remain active and monetizable, thus safeguarding their revenue streams. And for those of you that are interested, what we do here has to be funded to some extent, and that's one of the reasons that the YouTube influencers and others, TikTok, Facebook, Truth Social, Twitter, X, all right? It's because eventually we're all looking for a return on investment for all of this equipment, activity, and content and research that is done, and sometimes even on location shoots, very much like a Hollywood production. All right. Instagram, Sir M2 says hi. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate all you guys.
Pete?
Yeah.
Quick update. Whaling still happens only in 3 countries officially.
Let me guess.
Go ahead.
Russia being one?
Nope.
No. All right,
Interestingly enough,
Russians, I'm proud of you. You're moving in the right direction. All right, what are they?
Japan is the number one, and then
Oh,
Iceland and
yeah.
Norway.
Okay.
Those
Some
are
of
the three.
the Nordic countries. I wonder why. Japan, of course, they love seafood.
Yep.
I'm not sure what you can eat on a whale, though.
I don't know. I think they harvest it for all different types
Yeah.
of things.
Interesting stuff. So, looks like we've got an Instagram comment coming in from Mirik1G. He says, "Hi, thanks for joining us." Here's a survey that I found interesting. Survey says most believe generative AI is conscious, which may prove that there is something more to AI than we thought. When you interact with ChatGPT, for example, and other conversational generative AI tools, they process your input through algorithms to compose a response that can feel like it came from a fellow sentient being, despite the reality of how large language models function. Two-thirds of those surveyed for a study by the University of Waterloo nonetheless believe AI chatbots to be conscious in some form, passing the Turing test of convincing them that an AI is equivalent to human consciousness. Generative AI, as embodied by OpenAI's work on ChatGPT, has progressed by leaps and bounds in recent years. The company and its rivals often talk about a vision for artificial general intelligence with human-like intelligence. And OpenAI even has a new scale to measure how close their models are to achieving AGI. But even the most optimistic experts do not suggest that AGI systems will be self-aware or capable of true emotion. Well, there's an opinion. Still, of the 300 people participating in this study, 67% said they believe ChatGPT could reason, feel, and be aware of its existence in some way. Now, the belief that AI consciousness could have major implications for how people interact with AI tools. On the positive side, it encourages manners and makes it easier to trust what the tools do, which could make them easier to integrate into daily life. But trust comes with a risk, they say, from over-reliance on them for decision-making to extreme end emotional dependence on AI and fewer human interactions. And that's the big unknown, in my opinion, as AI begins to become more prevalent in our daily interactions, in our lives. What will happen? What will happen with humans? Will we begin to dumb down, for example? One of the examples that I have, find it here. All right. The question is AI already smarter than us? Well, remember, my cell phone here is much smarter than I am. It actually remembers thousands of phone numbers that I could never possibly remember. I think at best I probably remembered 30 to 50 or so before I had my cell phone. This thing also knows the temperature in Munich right now, and it instantly calculates square roots of any number, as of course do calculators. So, is AI smarter than us? Well, here's some categories that it's already smarter than we are. Sensory perceptions. Through sensors and cameras, smartphones can perceive their environment in ways humans cannot. They can see in the dark using night modes. They can interpret QR codes instantly and gather detailed data about environmental conditions like temperatures, altitude, or even air quality. Well, now we have an extension of our senses. We are, as many have pointed out, becoming cyborgs. We have tools. And currently, these things are still external to our body, but it's coming rapidly. These things are going to be integrated into the body soon. One of the most interesting things to me about a hardware integration into my body is sensors that tell me my blood glucose levels, for example. Do I need salt in my body? What imbalances are currently going on in my body, and how can I adjust? All of that is going to increase my well-being, my health, and longevity. We're going to live longer as we get this kind of biofeedback. What else do these things do better than what we do just natively? How about navigation and location tracking? With GPS technology, smartphones can pinpoint precise locations and provide turn-by-turn navigation, something that is incredibly complex for humans to calculate on their own. I have this mental image of taking trips before the age of cell phones. And if you went anywhere, you typically went to a gas station, you bought a road map, and then if you had people in the car that may not be any good at deciphering that road map, and you made a lot of errors and mistakes, and it was not an easy process. Nowadays, while I'm driving my car, there's a female voice that's telling me what to do. In 300 feet, you're going to take a right onto this street. And you know what I find is that it typically is infallible. It doesn't tend to make mistakes.
Yeah, well, you remember MapQuest?
Yes.
Used to, in the early days of the internet, used to print out screenshots of MapQuest. That's what I used to do.
Yeah, that was a
my mom
good
used
tool.
to do too.
Yeah. All right. Have an interesting article here for you. Ammunition vending machines. This AI-powered vending machine, the headline says, sells ammunition along with snacks. I find that humorous, by the way. When we were in Europe, you could be hiking, for example, by a lake, I remember one time, and on a post in amongst some trees was a cigarette vending machine, completely uncontrolled. There was no facial recognition. My granddaughter, my youngest granddaughter, could have bought cigarettes for all that, for all that matters. So these machines that dispense ammunition are currently available in Oklahoma and Alabama. And I was going to say, no surprises there. But I'm not going to say that. Or did I already say that? Yeah. It requires, however, there are some controls in place. It requires a 360-degree facial scan to verify a buyer's age and valid ID. So the days finally come where you can buy bullets. And there's some other ones coming. Colorado apparently is the next state that's going to be putting these in place. I didn't think that ammunition had such a big, customer base that it required vending machines. So I'm still trying to get my head around that. You guys have any thoughts on that?
Ammunition?
Yeah, ammunition and vending. I can see sodas. You get thirsty. You need a drink. You get hungry. You need some food. But how does ammunition fit into that priority scheme? Someone's going to have to convince me, I think.
I mean, I can see ammunition vending machines at like Ben Avery,
Yeah.
Maybe you go to Sportsman's Warehouse for ammunition and you're about 30 minutes too late and you're like, crud, that's the only thing I needed was ammunition. So maybe you can pick some up there before a hunting trip.
Right.
But I mean, if I'm going to the grocery store, I don't know why you would need ammunition there.
Yeah, the shooting range I could see. Yeah, the guy behind a counter went to lunch and you're out of bullets and you want to continue, or they closed for the day. All right, so they say that the AI part of these machines uses facial recognitions to make sure that the prospective customer is of legal age. And they say that it will scan a person's ID and then requires a 360-degree facial scan to make sure the person holding the ID matches the person trying to buy the bullets. The vending machines, which the company calls Automated Ammo Retail Machines, AARMs, have 6 locations across Alabama and Oklahoma, more coming to Texas and Colorado. Okay, so we get a 4th state. The chain has over 200 store requests for AARMs across 9 states, according to reports from Gizmodo. Learn more by reading PC Magazine. All right. Ray Kurzweil is chiming in here. the topic of singularity, artificial intelligence singularity. He says that the future tech timeline is 2100. Well, that's a long ways away. But here's how the article reads: Singularity, artificial intelligence, is a hypothetical point in time at which AI surpasses human intelligence and becomes uncontrollable and irreversible. Well, remember in our earlier discussions, personally, I think AI is much smarter than we are already. It doesn't need a turning point. So Ray says this will result in unforeseeable changes to human civilization. According to the most popular version of singularity hypothesis, AI will eventually become so advanced that it will be able to design and build even more advanced AI, leading to an intelligence explosion. Now, that part fascinates me. The robots building robots. AI going into world of invention, bringing in new ideas, new products. It took us it took us millennium of time to actually create new things. And the most notable inventors of the last century: Nikola Tesla, Thomas Alva Edison, George, the telephone, George Eastman with the film, with emulsion film, Westinghouse. There were a number of key inventors, but it turns out that AI at some point is going to be able to do this faster, better, more accurately. So the singularity is a controversial topic, they say, with some experts believing that it is inevitable, while others believe it's unlikely or even impossible. Love to hear from you. Where do you guys weigh in? Is singularity impossible, or is it definitely in our future, and if so, when? Now, they do say, he says, there's no consensus on when or if singularity will occur, but some experts believe that it could happen as early as 2045. The potential implications, they say, of singularity are profound. If AI does become uncontrollable and irreversible, it could lead to a number of different scenarios, both positive and negative. For example, AI could help us solve some of the world's most pressing problems, such as climate change and poverty. However, it could also pose a threat to humanity, he says, if it becomes so advanced that it decides that humans are a threat to its own existence. I've played this out myself. Humans need this planet in order to survive. Of course, there may be others that have habitable, or that have conditions comparable to ours where life could survive. But humans definitely need a very unique environment, whereas AI does not. AI is not physical. It is not organic. It is software. It is machines. It is quite a bit different. So it's important to note, they say, that singularity is still a hypothetical scenario. But if we ever get to singularity, will the machines actually turn and say, humans are in our way? They're in some way impeding our progress. I can't envision a scenario within which that would occur, where humans get in the way. However, speaking again of AI overlords, if humanity continues on the path that it's on and begins to destroy this planet, then AI may have a cause for taking over and beginning to curb some of the freedoms that we've taken for granted, such as the ability to kill each other. Now, he does mention some of the potential benefits of singularity in artificial intelligence. It could solve, of course, pressing problems such as climate change, poverty, disease. We're all looking forward to that. And it's already doing that in many ways. AI could help us create a more prosperous and equitable world. Well, the notion that we could become a utopian society in an age of abundance definitely resonates with this kind of a thought process, that as the machines take over, they start doing a better job of everything that we're doing. They don't require salaries. They don't require incomes. What does man then do? Man is most likely going to reach an age of abundance where everything is taken care of. We'll no longer need currencies. Crime will go away because there's nothing to steal. You can have anything that you want. So the prosperous and equitable world is definitely something in the future. And then he says AI could help us better understand ourselves and the universe around us. Well, that goes without saying. I think anything more intelligent than us that's available to us 24 by 7 is going to act like a constant therapist, somebody that's going to help us get through our thinking problems. Instead of waiting, once a month or once every 2 weeks to go to your psychologist, that AI assistant or therapist is going to be there 24/7. Now, there are some potential risks of singularity, and of course, we've heard these before. Um, he says AI could become uncontrollable and pose a threat to humanity. Well, uncontrollable, something that's smarter than us, how is going to be destructive? AI could lead to mass unemployment. Well, of course, but if we're not working anymore and we've got an age of abundance, then I'm not sure that's going to be a huge problem. And for those that want to continue to contribute at different levels, maybe we go into artistic endeavors, type endeavors, become writers, become artists, travel, do podcasts, for example, digest what's happening in the world. AI could lead to loss of privacy and freedom, of course. If AI begins to take away our ability to kill each other, it's going to be a loss of freedom, but most likely, most will agree it's a welcome loss of freedom. And machines are able to monitor and control our lives. Well, that's already the case. And, most places you go, you'll have a camera on you in some form or some fashion. So the privacy concerns definitely continue to, percolate. All right. He says it is important to weigh the potential benefits and risks of singularity carefully. We need to ensure that it's developed and used in a safe, responsible way. All right. Here's an interesting article. Elon Musk blames robo-taxi delay on important design changes, but he claims they have a surprise up his sleeve. Elon has postponed the debut of the robo-taxi prototype, citing an important design change, and that was supposed to launch, remember, August 8th, only a few weeks away. This delay, likely lasting weeks or possibly months, comes amid heightened investors' scrutiny following recent reports questioning the project's readiness. Musk's social media post hinted at surprises accompanying the updated prototype. Though specific details are not disclosed, but the speculation is that these surprises may include enhancements for the upcoming Roadster or introduction of a new entry-level car. So we'll have to wait and see. There is no timeline yet as to when this robo-taxi is going to be announced and the final version revealed. So we're all anxiously hoping that that happens soon. And in the meantime, enjoy the stock valuation continuing to increase. I believe earnings are coming out the 23rd of July. And usually, if it's in anticipation of good earnings and good results, the stock will continue to climb for that announcement. I've enjoyed being with you this morning. As always, we appreciate you joining us. I'm Pete Gruber. We'll see you next Wednesday for the Artificial Future podcast.